There's 4 defining elements of how I get that joy in criteria from my dogs. Wacc, W-A-C-C, wacc. I don't know if it's whack. I don't know. You guys can make up your own. The letters just came together. So the W is, it needs to be worth the dog's while. It needs to be worthwhile. If I ask my dog to sit and I'm in the kitchen, I might have like a piece of cheese in my hand. And so there's no other distractions around. Hey, it's worth my while. I'm going to sit. Boom. My butt's hitting the ground. Yeah, I'll do everything you want. If I take that same dog and I take them to like out in the woods and there's squirrels and rabbits and chipmunks and I ask them to sit, it might not be worth their while because there's too many other good things going on. So you might not get that sit. Does that mean it's impossible? My definition of bringing the dog joy, to get a dog to sit out in the woods with all those distractions? No, it is possible, but you need to build it up layer by layer. Can a dog find joy sitting when there's squirrels around they want to chase? Absolutely. Just like my dogs can find joy in sitting at the start line in agility when there's nothing on this earth they'd rather do than run agility. It needs to be worth the dog's while, whatever it is you're asking. Now, does that mean you always have to have a piece of cookie on you or their favorite toy? Absolutely not. That's what good dog training is about. But it needs to be worth, in your dog's mind, they've got to say, hey, this is good. Criteria is currency between the dog and I. And they go, yeah, I like it when she asks me to do something. It's great. W, worthwhile. Number 2, the A, it needs to be achievable. What you're expecting of your dog, what you're asking of your dog is something that they are able to do. So I couldn't take a dog off the street and expect them to be able to run an agility course flawlessly. That's not achievable for them. They've never seen any of the equipment. I would need to break all of that equipment down into small pieces, small skill sets, teach them all the little elements of each skill set before they'd be able to run an entire agility course. So is taking a dog like Tater Salad, when he first came here, he didn't have the understanding of very much, and if he loved chipmunks. If we were to take him out in the backyard and ask him to sit, would that be achievable? Not likely, because he really didn't understand what sit meant, and he loved to chase chipmunks. So it needs to be achievable with the education your dog has at that point in time in the environment that you have put him in. This first C is your expectations need to be clear to the dog. They need to be black and white. There's an obvious, this is correct and this is incorrect. It can't be, this is correct for now. Because here's the thing, sometime is any time to a dog. So if you have a rule that your dog isn't allowed on the couch, then they can't be allowed on the couch sometime. And then other times you get disappointed or frustrated or angry because you've just come in from a hike and they're muddy and they jump on the couch. Sometime is any time to a dog. Now, does that mean, oh, I should never let my dog on the couch? No, it just means you need to manage your expectations when your dog is muddy. If you want your dog on the furniture, have at it. Just don't give them the free will to come in when they're muddy and jump on the couch. You don't have the right to get mad. The currency of the criteria has been spent. You've said you're allowed on the furniture. Sometime is any time to the dog. It needs to be black and white. I tell you what, a little pet peeve of mine, you're learning a lot about my pet peeves here on the podcast, is when somebody comes to my house and they start training my dog, which is a little cray-cray. Why do you come to a professional dog trainer's house and start training their dog? So they'll say things like, sit down to my dog. Those are 2 separate behaviors with 2 sets of criteria that are in complete opposition to each other. It would be like me asking you to, could you run over there and stand still right here, please? Well, those are 2 different behaviors, Susan. Yeah, I know exactly. Sit and down are 2 different behaviors to my dog. Criteria needs to be clear. You will gain the dog's confidence. The dog will be able to achieve your expectations on a more broad basis in more locations, in more environment, the more clear you are with those expectations. Now, what about if I have rules in my dog and I'm super clear with my dog, but somebody else in my family who lives with my dog doesn't have those same rules. That's not a perfect setup, but it's okay. So my late husband, he didn't follow the same rules with the dogs that I did. And so the dogs learned with him, they could keep testing. So sometimes I have to sit at the door and sometimes I don't. They were constantly testing him. They didn't constantly test me because they knew criteria is the same. That criteria is currency, and our understanding is when I ask you to do something, you do it every single time. Now he would get a little jealous. Well, why don't they listen to you? Especially because he was the one who fed them their dinner every day. And it had nothing to do about whether they liked me best. It had to do about the clarity to which I lived my life with my dogs. Brene Brown, I believe, has said, clarity is kind. You want to lead with utmost kindness with your dog? Always be clear. And that leads me to the second C, and that is consistency. You need to always consistently apply your criteria. It needs to be the same always. So if you are the kind of person who comes in the house and lets your dog jump on you, hey, hi, I'm back, hi. Then when your 98-pound grandmother comes over and your 110-pound German Shepherd plasters her against the wall, you can't be upset. You can't get mad at the dog because the rules have to be consistently applied, whether it's your 98-pound grandmother, a toddler, or you. Sometime is any time to a dog. So the criteria has got to be what is bringing my dog joy. Whatever it is I want to train my dog to do, whether it be retrieve a ball. Now it's obvious. The criteria can be very clear. You sit, you wait till I throw it, you go out when I tell you to get it, you bring it all the way back and you put it right in my hand. Why is that worthwhile? Because you get to do it again. Now, if your dog brings it back part way and spits it out and backs up and stares at you and you walk out and pick it up, you've made it worthwhile for them to only bring it back halfway. I'm maybe a tad more lazy than you are because I don't want the game of retrieve to be I retrieve part way and you retrieve part way. I want it to be you retrieve right to my hand. And so I make it worthwhile. The currency of criteria between my dog and I is you do this, you get that. Right? So know in your brain exactly what you want it to look like. And in my books, criteria is defined by what brings your dog joy. And I hope for all of you listening from now on, that's your criteria for your dog as well.